We're gonna go over all the key factors behind traveling while vegan, and we're gonna start right now. What's up everybody, it's Dane Miller from GarageStrength.com, and if this is your first time to the channel and you're interested in learning more about strength training, you're interested in becoming a freak athlete, maybe you want to learn a little bit more about nutrition, vegan nutrition, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you ring that notification bell so we can help you become a beast. So I've heard a ton of different people say to me, well, you know, when you're traveling all over the world, you can't really eat that well. You can't eat vegan. You can't eat on a high protein diet. It's not possible. You're not capable of being able to continue to lose weight and be healthy while you're traveling. And I tend to disagree. One of those things that I take pride in is that I travel at least twice a month, where I might be gone for 4 to 7 days twice a month. And I might be flying to Thailand, to Malaysia, to Uzbekistan, all the way to Tokyo, wherever you can imagine I am traveling. And one of the big factors is how can you focus on being vegan is preparing ahead and eating well and making those conscious decisions ahead of time so that you're not in a bad spot when you're actually traveling. So I think there's a couple key factors when we're talking about traveling while being vegan and making sure that you can actually uphold your standards. It's like, one, you gotta look at where you're traveling to, okay? You gotta make sure, like, all right, for me personally, I'm traveling to Tashkent, Uzbekistan. That's on the complete opposite side of the world. So I've gotta look at the hotel I'm staying at. I gotta try and factor in, all right, is there a grocery store nearby? Is there things that I can do to try and make sure that I'm eating vegan and making sure that I'm abiding by my standards for my current diet? But on top of that, I've got to prepare, right? I've got to prepare ahead of time. And so one of those big factors is, what do we do tonight? We ended up making right here, okay? We've got chickpeas, black beans, cauliflower, broccoli, and tikka masala. And on top of that, we've got right here a whole bunch of rice. And so that rice is gonna go with me on the airplane. I'm gonna take it with me, and so that I have a ton of rice, I have a bunch of carbs, so that while I'm traveling, I'm able to uphold and eat decent quality food. And then when I'm traveling, I wanna make sure I've got my vegan chocolate, right? I've got my gluten-free bites that are also vegan. I've got my edamame beans right here. I've got my common ground plant-based protein, okay? I've got my chickpea protein snack. What else do I have? I've got my coffee right here, okay? I got my pre-ground coffee so I can make my pour over. And what else? I've got my broccoli bites. So if I have all this stuff planned ahead of time, now when I'm traveling, when I'm on the airplane for 12 to 13 hours, and then when I get to the destination, I have a decent amount of food, especially that protein source. So if I have my protein source planned ahead, I've got a whole bunch of common ground with me. Now I know it's gonna be a little bit easier. I know I'm gonna have a little bit more time. So this is planning ahead, it's establishing what I wanna do, and now when we travel, it's gonna be a little bit easier for me to remain vegan. Alright, so this is how you get vegan protein on an airplane. Pack all your plant protein and your creatine in here. So this is going to be about 30 to 40 grams. I got my rice that I prepared last night. And what I like to do is just scoop as much as I can into my little container here. And then I mix in my water, and basically this turns into a rice plant protein porridge that I'll eat. I'll get hydrated, I'll get a ton of creatine out of here, probably about 8 grams of creatine, and then I'll get all my plant protein for the next 6 hours. And hopefully I've got enough energy, I feel better, and I can take a little nap on this 12-hour flight. People kept saying how hard it was going to be to eat vegan while traveling. I will say this, there's a lot of really good dairy products in Uzbekistan. A lot of good meat products too. But there's also really, really good kiwi. I've never had roasted vegetables for breakfast. Good rice. I think that's one of the big things that I'm learning is that there's so many fruit options available when you're traveling, and there's so many nuts here. If you saw, there's a ton of different nut options, pistachios, cashews, walnuts, different types of nuts that I've never seen before. I've been eating just tons and tons of nuts, and my stomach feels really good, and so that's one of the key factors. In the past, I haven't been able to handle that nuts too well. Even dates, stuff like that. It's been really, really interesting for me while I'm traveling to eat a whole bunch of different vegetables that I'm not used to, fruits that I'm not used to, and that's helping me adapt really well while I'm traveling. So I don't think it's that bad. I think one of the big key factors was I do have plant protein that I brought with me, so that's helping me get a ton of protein, but engaging with really good fruits, with really good vegetables goes a long way when you're eating vegan while traveling. Okay, so I had to go find vegan PLOV. So if you know what PLOV is, it's a standard Uzbeki dish where it's got usually like beef or horse or lamb, fried, some fried vegetables and rice in vegetable oil. But mine doesn't have any meat. I got the vegan version. It took me all week to find one, to find a restaurant that sells it here in Tashkent, but at least I found it. Now I'm gonna dig in. Already had a bite, so I already know it's good. It's hot. Vegan PLOV, it exists. So a quick lesson that I learned traveling while vegan is that, especially when you get the cultural food like PLOV here. So PLOV is, like I had mentioned earlier, I guess it's what, rice, potatoes, some raisins. I don't know, it just tastes really, really good. And for me, it was like, all right, I actually found a vegan PLOV, so I actually went back and got another one. So this is gonna be the last meal here in Tashkent before I head out. But that's one of those big lessons that I learned while traveling, being vegan, is that if you find a place that's good and they have good stuff, just keep going back to it, you know. And it's, especially if it's a good cultural meal. And that was like my main goal, was to come to Tashkent, come to Uzbekistan, and get Uzbeki food that is cultural but still abiding by vegan principles, and I did it. So I'm pretty proud of that. So I'm gonna smash some PLOV, and then we got a flight early in the morning, leaving at 6 a.m. We got a 13-hour flight, so getting ready to head out and get back to the States. Okay, so traveling while vegan, the journey is over. I sold out a little bit. I came starving. We just had 19 hours of travel. That had rice and peanuts, and that was about it. So came to Whole Foods and got Korean tofu and asparagus and vegan chicken salad. So I'm gonna smash a whole bunch of prepped, pre-made food from Whole Foods before we head home. But I think the big lesson traveling while vegan is, one, it's possible. Two, you gotta plan ahead. The big takeaway would be plan your protein big time ahead. Like for me, it was having 2 containers of common ground. I would say get that protein, and you can take that with you anywhere. But then also be willing to look for food, and it's okay to rely on the same foods over and over again, like kiwi, like rice, and then splurge a little bit when you get home. So plan ahead. The big takeaway, get that plant protein from earth-fed muscle, common ground, splurge when you get home, and rely on the same foods that you do all the time, rice, kiwi, bananas, and you'll be fine while you're traveling while vegan.